from morning, and you know, in the morning I was asked by the DCD folks that why every year CapitaLand chooses this platform. I think this platform is a great mix of technology, investors, IPCs, OEMs, customers, and whatnot. And I think there's a lot of blend of ideas, exchange, where we are today, from where, which one? Where we are today, from here, where we are going to move next. So I think it's always been, every year it has been a very enriching experience. I think a lot of technology discussion, and I was just having a brief tour on the booths, and so much new, so many new players are coming, so many new technologies are being seen. So I think with my presentation, I'm just going to cover a little bit about who we are, what are we trying to do in India, how long has been our presence, which are the sectors we are very focused on. We are a Singapore headquartered asset investment and an asset development manager, present in roughly about 270 cities, 45 countries. Temasek is our major shareholder, which is owned 52% by Government of Singapore. These are the few financials which says how robust we are in terms of our financial. We have roughly about 13.7 billion of market cap on the Singapore Stock Exchange. We're listed there. We are 117 billion of funds under management. We are typically a REIT operated structure. That means there is a financial capital vehicle for each country where we invest, about roughly 10,000 more globally, 400 investment and asset management. On the bottom, you see this is where we are present, globally as well as in India. Data centers, office, retail, lodging, business parks, industrial logistics. Let me refer to Chennai. We are formally known in the country as Ascendas, which CapitaLand took over. So the International Tech Park brand is our office, which has presence in Radial Road. We have Mahindra World City, OMR, that's our office. We have our expansion in warehousing and logistics space. And in data centers, before I come to data centers, how's our global footprint looks like. Our focus markets for the group has been Singapore, China, and India. Our core markets have been Australia, Japan, and South Korea, and our Europe and Asia. So if you look at, this is where our focus on data centers as an asset class. Typically our new facilities in Asia which were coming up, which are all the India facilities which we are building, Navi Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore. Incidentally, all four put together, we will be building something about 245, 250 megawatts of capacity total. We have this year by Q3, the Mumbai and the Hyderabad will be going to launch, and followed by Chennai and then Bangalore. Apart from India's story, we have Hanam, South Korea, China, 2 DCs, and Japan. We have 9 hyperscale designed data centers globally, and with a combined capacity right now of about 800 megawatts plus in terms of capacity. As I was mentioning about India, this is our current presence. We have built in about 240 with a 159, 160 type of capacity in the IT load. If you look at the locations, we have chosen the best, which is tried and tested in terms of where infrastructure is present, in terms of power, connectivity, land, so on and so forth. Coming to Chennai, we are in number 2, it's about a 4-acre land. We are building a 54 megawatt gross capacity it's under construction, and you'll see some pics of that. And the expected go live date is next year, Q3. Here on the bottom, as you can see, this is the upcoming plan we have. We're going to build one more in Navi Mumbai. That's going to be a very large hyperscale capacity, which is roughly about 150 megawatt of capacity. We're doing one more in Hyderabad, and then followed by Kolkata. As I mentioned earlier, there's a new upcoming location where we're looking at. What has been our USPs typically? I mean, we were a typically late entrant. We entered India at about 2019, 2020. By the time the market was heating up, many players. We also felt that if we have to add relevance, have to be meaningful, then we have to focus on certain. So I think where we focused was on quality, specs, because our targeted segments our 60 to 70% business is run through hyperscalers, and about 30% is run through enterprises. In enterprises, we focus across banking very strongly, IT, ITS, e-commerce, so on and so forth. So typically all our facilities have an in-house GIS substation depending upon the capacity, what we do. In case of Mumbai, it's a 220. In case of a Chennai, it's a 110. Needless to say, I think now most of us players in this space are designing AI-enabled infrastructures. Multi-utility area, which is very, very important. And this is very critical because today the kind of rack sizes, the kind of rack weights we are being seen, it is designed at a 2000 kg loading capacity and a 6-meter clear height, slab to slab. I think these are very, very important as these specs do form a foundation in terms of when you engage with your large set of clients. Why Chennai? And about a month back, I was through the NASSCOM back here, and it's really booming to be in Chennai. I think these are the few things, and I think beyond that, I think the government way focus on the policy matters in terms of how they're looking this asset class. A lot of investments is getting attracted. It's part of a submarine cable landing station, which is obviously high bandwidth capacity. Low latency still. I think I want to highlight the last point. I think skill, talent pool is gaining a lot of momentum in Chennai. And I think all the large operators are seeing things a huge scope in terms of engaging with various institutes to understand how we can create the talent pool for the kind of supply we're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years. It's just not competing, honestly speaking, Chennai today. It is leading with all the fundamentals to come to a close of tier 1 city. I was mentioning about Chennai's capacity as a customer base. I think on the right-hand side, you can see the pie is talking of all the verticals typically Chennai has to offer, but hyperscalers already been existing here for a long period. BFSI, a very strong sector of BFSI exists here in this part of the city. AI workloads are being seen, GPU-led based and all cloud and SaaS. And government and public sector, I think rising interest in the sovereign data localization. I think platforms like LCOT, Guidance Bureau, they're very, very focused to ensure that how data can be localized, how policy framework can suit to the investors and for scalability. Now, hyperscalers have made their bets here. AI-fueled transformation beginning to shape infrastructure stories. This is a very pictorial view of our data center, which is we are building right now in Ambattur. This typically is the site location. I mean, on the right-hand side, you can see this is one building block, a configuration of G+7 with a floor loading of 2000, a GI substation of 110 within the premise, raised floor, slab to slab, connectivity from 4 diverse paths, and a fuel storage for at least 36 backup hours. That's the typical specs what we typically on a global design parameters we work. A gross power of about 54 megawatt and an IT power of 34 megawatt what we are building. These are the few pictures of how the construction is currently going on and which stage of construction we are in. Raised 2 slabs already and it's moving folks. I think this is very, very keen. AI ready, advanced cooling, whether it is a direct to chip, rear door or immersion. We have a fair bit of experience on this subject as we are right now implementing for another large hyperscaler in a Navi Mumbai plant, which gives us a lot of edge and understanding and knowledge, and work with partners like Schneider and Vertiv to ensure that we are able to implement this on time. And obviously, those learnings what we have in our other site, we will be bringing here in Chennai and make it very, very effective for customers to come and look at us. These are the typical offerings what we do from a CapitaLand stack perspective. We give scalable and reliable art facility, optimized infrastructure in terms of power and cooling, built-in redundancies, and we are a very focused colo build-to-suit partner. Typical more features in terms of build-to-suit, customization, scalability are the key focus areas what we typical. Build-to-suit has been our very focus area. I think in the last 2 years, there have been a lot of conversations we are doing with our customers, and they want a lot of customizations to happen. And I think we, as a partner, are able to understand those conversations, bring in those relevant discussions into the technology, being it very modular architecture, scalable architecture, and that's where we are able to see that there's a lot of future that lies for us there. These are a typical, very standard managed data center offerings, what we do, apart from our build-to-suit and co-location and other service offering. I'm not going, it's very standard typically. And this is our green. We have just, on the right-hand side, we've invested into a 25 megawatt solar power plant in Tuticorin, Chennai. I think for CapitaLand, it's given that we want to do Sustainability is not only signing PPAs. Sustainability for us is something, a strategy we want to form. So whether it is a dedicated captive, whether it is a group captive, whether it is a PPA, we're going to be here. We are right now, and I can't disclose more, we are right now talking to pick up a 100% stake in one of the Gencos, which is a large capacity player, whose current capacity holds at about 3 gigawatt of solar power plant. So I think CapitaLand is very focused in terms of ensuring that how we can add and bring back, how to reduce the carbon footprint through our various measures. And this all activity is not limited to only data centers. We'll be all extending this to our office setup, we'll be extending this to our warehousing and other asset classes. Thank you. Thank you for patiently for listening. I think what my message too is that for us also, we're also learning. It's not that we are building, that we know everything. I think we are very, very today, the ecosystem has become very matured. I have a lot of friends at the back, we keep talking, that today it's where we come together, we talk, we converse, we understand how technology is happening. Our neighboring countries, for example, I'm sure you guys are aware, Singapore has been a moratorium as there is no power for almost a lot more than a year. Johor is getting very, very crowded. Indonesia, Malaysia is also seeing ramp up. India is a huge potential. My submission to the audience here is, and to the future potential customers, is that a lot of investments are going. We don't want to blindly invest. We want to invest in a direction so that we can add value to the entire fraternity. For that matter, these kind of platforms are very, very critical, where ideas are exchanged, discussions are happening, whether you are an OEM, whether you are an IPC, or whether you are a partner. So please converse, talk, do give them break after 5 minutes, very important, and let's enjoy the evening. Thank you so much for a pleasant evening, and we're great gathering. Thank you so much.